in the bloopers, aren't you?
Probably.
Hey folks, welcome to the farm.
Start that over again. I wasn't recording. Yep.
Hey folks, welcome to the farm. It is July 5th. I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Patrick, say hello.
Hi.
Hi. Man, it is muggy. My screen's fogging up.
All right, this is the first time we've done this. We are
Turn that down that way it doesn't echo.
absolute amateurs.
Let me know.
He's implanting your opinion in your head so that you have to. That's how brainwashing works. You're not asking for an opinion. You're asking them to agree with you. Absolute meatloaf goodness right there.
The crazy thing to me is watch her cut this open.
Let's cut into this.
Oh.
Let's cut it open.
This is what I grew up with, is these two imbeciles.
I'm at the Niagara Falls border crossing, and I can't get these goats and chickens off the trailer and into the canoe to get across the river.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, folks.
How are y'all doing tonight?
So I'm the backseat driver tonight, so I'm just going to sit in the back seat and let the young man drive the bus. I like that role.
Yeah. Papa gets to relax. All right, so get in those comments. Let us know you're here. I know we had a bunch of y'all before we even really kicked off the live. Rolling, getting it done north 7.
Hey, before we get started, Rick, I want to encourage everyone to get on to Roland's live stream that he will be doing tomorrow night. I believe it's at 7. Go to our community tab, and I shared that announcement out on the community tab this afternoon. But Roland's going to be doing a educational tech session with 2 guests looking at the topic that we discussed a little bit last night, search engine optimization. So
SEO.
Yeah, ought to be good. So make sure you check out. So Roland says yes, 7 p.m. Eastern, and he's a Eastern Canadian. So
So, but we got Highland Homestead, RC Off-Road Life, Real Life with Michael and Rob, Hobby Farms, Paula, how are you doing? Boone. So Voon, last night you had said something about preferably not doing them on Sundays, but unfortunately that seems to be, this will be probably one of my last Thursday ones, just because of scheduling. I mean, put it this way, Papa cannot run without a schedule.
I can run. I just highly suggest you have a schedule.
So he really does not like operating without a schedule. And so tonight we are operating without a schedule because it has been an absolute hell of a week. And I just didn't get to it. So
Boone, I'm right there with you, because if I got to do this on a Sunday, that means I'm not outside working. And I'd much rather be outside working than sitting behind a computer.
7 o'clock at night.
I could be working in the garage with lighting at 7
Oh,
o'clock.
Lord. Keeping it going. Let's see. Anybody else?
So 2 are moderators in here. We got Paula Wells in here. We got Highland Homestead, and I think James is in here.
I just had to hit the turbo button to get down to the
Yeah,
bottom.
so for the moderators, you guys don't have, you guys, this is for these tech sessions. I had a long talk with Paula this last week. You know, these are kind of information driven. So if you want to share links, if you want to kind of do the moderator thing, do that. You're more than welcome. But I have no expectation because I'm the backseat driver and I can be doing that while you guys listen to the young man speak.
Yeah, it's just me babbling. So continuing through, we got Lone Star Pioneering, Hat Creek's in here. Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming. So I have been lazy and I have not gotten you what you need from us. I have a folder of about 10 short videos and a couple pictures and a logo that I will be sending you tomorrow. So I apologize for the lengthy wait.
It's all on him, Sam.
It is definitely on me because Papa has been Half Pace Outdoors. Thank you guys, everybody. If I missed y'all, if I missed your name, there's Tim. How are y'all? But if I missed your name, I apologize. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a little bit of what's gonna happen tonight. So tonight is all about thumbnails. I hope you guys liked the thumbnail that I put together because we are going to be watching a very short video that I put together. And I'm going to kind of walk through the steps. I did it on Photoshop. I'm assuming that if you guys did download one of the, I'm going to mute you, Papa. If you guys did download one of those programs that I had said last week, either GIMP or Photoshop, I'm assuming the majority of you guys went with GIMP because that is the free program, that is the free software. So I'm going to be showing you guys a video of me creating the actual thumbnail that we used for this video. And then I'm going to be recreating that same exact style of thumbnail and kind of how and why I choose to do what I do with my thumbnail. And this is not a how to make your thumbnail like Lala Farm. I'm going to really show you the reason why we create our thumbnails the way we do. Now we have a couple. You guys are here. I'll run over there, and there's a couple that really need to. If I can, there we go. All right. So this is nope. You're muted, Dad. What were we saying?
I said some of them look better in theory than they do actually in
they do, and there's the one that Papa is referring to is the livestock wound care right here. If you guys look at the screen, it has livestock wound care, and you can really read it pretty easily. I maybe went a little bit overboard with the shadowing on the edges, but you can't really tell it's a goat. So that's a perfect example of how not to edit your photo. But as you can see, a lot of the other ones, this is the thumbnail for tonight. This is the thumbnail for last week. There was a couple people that had actually mentioned that thumbnail was nicely done. Kind of did the same thing with kids making the skillet brownies last week. And it's all about clarity, and it's all about how small you can get a logo or a thumbnail, how small you can get it and how it is still legible, or you can still kind of tell what it is. So again, this is the one that we're going to be kind of creating and watching that short little video on tonight, and I can go ahead and start that now. But this is 2 screens. I do all of my stuff on dual screens. The one on the right hand side is actually where the program will be. The one on the right is where files and any other windows that they're like support windows. But this at the very beginning is me just kind of setting it up. So I'll skip to right here. So what I had was me and Madeline stepped outside, and I told her that I was going to set a piece of paper on fire that said "Old Way," and I needed her to take a picture of me while I set this piece of paper on fire. And I made sure that the lighting was good. I made sure that my face was towards the sun. That way the lighting was good. You'll hear a lot of other people, the Two Family Homestead has said it numerous times in his videos, where facial expressions, close-ups of your face, or you kind of, those, it draws people in. People like to look other people in the eye. And so when you can include yourself in a thumbnail, kind of close up, and still, I guess, kind of convey the message that you want to deliver, that's a good choice. So Madeline, she went outside and she took a picture of me, and I took it on my phone right here. Takes really good photos. Did it in portrait mode, which is, or not portrait, but in landscape mode. Kind of match up the ratio whenever I put it into the 720p. So landscape mode is like this. Portrait mode is like this. Papa told me I was getting too technical. The 720p, remember, you're muted, Dad. You can unmute yourself if you want to talk. So, but 720p and 1080p. 1080p is what I recommend that you guys shoot your videos in. It's a ratio. And I'll show you guys that in a second. I'll show you now in Google. If you guys go over to Google, and I'll show you kind of the ratios that they allow you to put your pictures in. Papa actually, right before we got on the live, was asking me about how to do this again, because he wanted to edit a photo of a rooster. But remember, you're muted.
I made our rooster mad tonight. So if you go to our community page, you'll see Rodney the rooster getting mad at me in a square thumbnail.
So excuse all the nonsense on the side and all that kind of stuff, but this is what I mean by ratios. So right here, you'll have original. That's not a ratio. Square just squares up the image and keeps it square. So that is good for like logos and such. I don't want to get too far off topic. 4x3 is like a picture print. If you go to CVS or Walgreens or some other photo place, a 4x3 is what your old pictures. I mean, hardly anybody gets pictures anymore, but 4x3 is the ratio that photos used to come in. 16:9. 16:9 is your 720p, your 1080p. That is what YouTube, that's what YouTube, the thumbnail is done in this 16:9 ratio. And so that's what you need to turn your photo into. So I'm gonna go back over here and continue this portion. So like I said, because I have an Android phone, this all backs up to Android or into Google. Now, with that being said, you can do the same exact thing in an Apple. Say you have an iPhone. Apple has a dedicated, I don't know what it's called, but it's where they store your photos. You can do pretty much the same exact thing in there. And then export, which means take it off of the network or take it off of the internet and then put it into a file form. That way you can drag and drop over it into one of your programs. So One thing I told Madeline, and I would also recommend for you guys, especially if you're taking the photo by yourself or you have someone who is like my daughter, where she's only 12 years old, or 11 or 12, 11. She's 11 years old. So she likes taking photos, but she doesn't really care about what they truly look like. So she just gave me the, yeah. But down at the bottom, you'll see this long bar of what just looks like really small square photos. What that is it's every single photo that while Madeline was taking the photo, she held down the photo button and it just continually took photos. I think there was something like 20 photos taken. And for this, it really played out well, because I wanted to find the exact part where the fire was almost on the W. That way you guys could still see the old way in the photo once we made our thumbnail. So again, kind of like I said last week, you have your auto and your original as far as where you can actually stylize the photos or put somewhat of a filter. Auto is not really a filter. What it does is it takes your stock photo or your raw photo, and it will add contrast automatically. It will add pop, which is kind of, it makes the photo, it gets rid of the fine, or it gets rid of the soft lines, and it just makes your photo stand out. A lot of the time it will make green greener and it will make blue bluer, because those kind of photos look good to people that are kind of browsing through. So as you can see me kind of pop it back and forth, you can see where the green turns greener and the blue turns bluer. And you can mess around it with that like that. If you don't say, if you wanted to add more light, you could. So once I got my photo where I wanted it, as you can see right there, I went ahead and I clicked right up. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah. So I clicked right up here on these 3 bars, went down, clicked download, and then down here you can see where it's downloading, and that's going to give me the image that I'm going to bring into Photoshop. So here I'm opening up my Photoshop. Now with this right here, I have a thumbnail template that we use. It's the one with the black border on it. I also have the one right next to it right here. That's the thumbnail template live stream for our Wednesday live streams. But I'll show you guys this real quick. So this is another example. This is actually just our thumbnails. This is a folder of nothing but thumbnails. But the size of our thumbnails that we do, one, because a thumbnail can only be a certain size. I think it is 2 gigs, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 megs. But that is a file size. Say what, Dad? I think it's 2 megs. I think it's so. But anyway, I have never found an issue as long as I make my thumbnails a 1280 by 720p. And I will go into depth a little bit later in the video whenever I pull up GIMP. 2 megs, yeah. But like I said, if you guys look right there, as the little icon or the little text box shows up, the dimensions that I use is 1280 by 720. And that's just for the thumbnail. That's not for our actual footage, the video itself. But I use 1280 by 720 just because it shrinks the file size quite a bit. I usually do not render, meaning take the photo from Photoshop and make it into a usable file that then YouTube can use for your thumbnail or recognize as a usable file. I do not use PNG. PNG is how you get a transparent image with nothing in the background, and you can place that on another image and still see the image behind it. I usually use JPEG, and that's just a I don't know the technical term, but it's like a flat image. I'm probably getting too technical again, Dad. Try not to, but it's a flat image, meaning there's a background, and it's not transparent. You can put that photo on top of another photo, and you won't be able to see the photo behind it. So anyway, all right, let's continue. Dad, if they got any questions, just let me know if I'm speeding through too quick. But you'll see me go ahead and open up that thumbnail template. And then at that time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag over my image. Now, you also, all right, so you'll see me kind of drag it out. I think I'm going to drag it out. Yeah. So I'll drag it out and kind of put it in the thumbnail template where I want my body and the sign and my head, and make sure you guys can see the lighter and all that kind of stuff. And whenever I get done with that, I'll back that up just to right here, because this is going to this is a huge difference between Photoshop and GIMP. You'll notice whenever we go in GIMP, the process of cutting myself into a transparent image is going to differ exponentially. And so Photoshop has a tool. It's this little icon up here, but it's a smart. I think it's called a tethering tool. But what it does is you roll it over and it automatically picks up what Photoshop thinks that you want to tie in together and select, and it does a really good job. You'll see right here. So I'll click that, and then I'll just start dragging it across, and it's very, very simple. Unfortunately, it's not that simple in GIMP, but like I had said before, that's just kind of you can do everything in GIMP you can do with Photoshop, just Photoshop's a little faster. But as far as the money side of it, but anyway, so you'll see me selecting myself. That's what these lines are all the way around my body. And what I'm doing is I'm actually cutting all of this background imagery out of the frame. Any questions yet, Dad, or no? No. So right now, as you can see, I kind of erased, and what I did was I went up top. I'll try to go back. So I copied that image. First of all, I copied that image. And then I went to select and then deselect, and then I pressed Control Z because I accidentally clicked that. I went to inverse. If you have Photoshop, I went to inverse, and then at that point, I was able to grab the eraser, and the only thing that's selected, I am no longer selected now. Everything else on that layer right here, that is selected. So once I break out with that eraser tool, at that point, I can go ahead and erase everything that is just in the selected path. So now this is an added step that I do. Go ahead, Dad.
I was going to say, Life with Rob. I'm going to try to post your link up there for your channel. I can't find your channel, so sorry. I'm not ignoring you.
Life with Rob. Okay. So this next step in Photoshop is just kind of an extra thing. You'll see me grab the eraser tool and go on top of this layer and erase the soft edges. They do have another tool. Photoshop's full of tools that you can actually shrink in the selected frame or the selection that you've made. You can actually shrink in the pixels, so you can take what's selected and shrink it in 1 pixel. A pixel are all of these itty bitty squares that you see in the background right here. That's a pixel. Individually, those are a pixel. So you'll see me kind of go ahead with a eraser tool here in a minute and zoom really far in. And what I'm doing is I'm actually cleaning up the edges. I'm cleaning up the edges with the eraser tool. That way, when you have a finished product, your sides don't look fuzzy. Now, you can go as in-depth or, light as you want to with your thumbnail editing. I mean, it's really up to you. What I do encourage, though, is I said last night something about your the what's the word for it? The where they impressions. Your impressions are very important. Think about your thumbnail or think about yourself whenever you're going to search for a YouTube video. You type in how to make apple pie. I'm hungry right now. So but how to make apple pie. And you go in there and when you search that, are you looking for the prettiest thumbnail with the best looking apple pie, or are you looking for the best title? Impressions is a lot of that is based on the thumbnail. So the more time you put into it, the more effort you put into learning how to do a really good job on your thumbnail, the better your impressions are going to be and more click through you'll get. What, Dad?
Another way to look at it is we got a question last night regarding how the YouTube algorithm is reading the videos, how they're set up SEO wise or on that channel. So when you're looking at the difference between the thumbnail, which Rick is talking about, and how the algorithm picks up a video and serves it to people, you're talking about two different things. So on this thumbnail, that's the human choice attractiveness that a person is going to look at, because that thumbnail does not factor into the algorithm. It is basically that first thing that you visually see, and it's either attractive or it's not attractive, and it pulls your attention or it doesn't pull your attention. The algorithm will get it there, but whether or not you click on it is really, I would argue, the quality of your thumbnail.
Yeah, I mean, you can hit your title out of the park. Papa he's not an SEO genius, but he knows a heck of a lot more than I do. I'm learning, and it's kind of funny because I'll do an SEO or I'll optimize a video. And I'll think to myself, I'm like, man, I really nailed this one. I did a really good job. And then like a week goes by and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this video should be doing so much better, and it's not. Optimization gets your video in front of someone, and like Papa said, the thumbnail gets them to engage. Or not engage, but the thumbnail gets them to do an impression where they get in there and they actually click on your video and watch it. Then at that point, your thumbnail doesn't mean anything, and your content means the world. So, again, all I'm doing right now, like I said, is just I'm erasing edges. As you guys can see right now, it is a super crisp and clean edge all the way around me. And that's because I ran it through with an eraser. If I did not run through and kind of clean up those edges manually, it would look good, especially if you shrunk it really far down. But as soon as you blow it up, like the initial thumbnail that you guys saw, if you guys got into the video before it started, the very large thumbnail that was placed across your entire screen, it would not have looked great. You would have been able to see small pixels of background on the sides of me. And that's what I was doing with the eraser tool, is just getting rid of all those loose edges, and cleaning up the edges of the screen. Now, what I just did was I placed a white background. I like solid colors. Solid colors, in my opinion, tend to make your thumbnail pop because they're not too busy. And what it does is it makes you really pay attention to what, or the viewer to pay attention to what you want them to pay attention to. You're not paying attention to the white background right now. You're paying attention to this hairy fella holding a piece of paper that says Old Way on it. And then the other plus side, and this is a huge deal, and I will get into it again a little bit more in GIMP because I can actually show you guys an example. But by having a solid background, it helps a ton with people being able to read your texts that you place in your video. So you'll see here, I will, after I've went ahead and made the background white, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean up a little bit more. But I start putting my text in. Now, again, we'll get a little bit further into this later on in the video, but I strongly encourage you guys not to do crazy texts. Sometimes it calls for it. I'll switch back over to here. I'll head on over to our YouTube channel and I will show you, we showed you not a failed thumbnail, but one that I definitely need to go back and rethink. And you'll find that too. When you see that your impressions are low on a video, you need to really think about going back and redoing that thumbnail. Nothing's wrong with going back and fixing thumbnails on videos that have already been posted. But if we come down here, if I click on it, this right here, where'd it go? Polo Posse Lala Gang of 4. There's no way that if someone were to be scrolling through that in their phone, they would know what that says.
Just for the record, that's for the record. He didn't do that. I did because I liked it. And
it's not,
the effect was there. I wanted to look like graffiti.
And it looks like it definitely looks like graffiti. And like I said, there's a place for all of it. But what I had said about the solid background, if you were to take Gang of 4, not necessarily the Poyo Posse, but if you were to take Gang of 4 and put that on a solid background, you would probably be able to read it. Lala, same exact thing. This is where I'm getting Lala from. It says it on the side. If you put that on a solid background, you would be able to see it. The fact that it's got background behind it and the background's busy and it's changing colors and it's a dark red and there's not a lot of contrast. This text is it is a good choice because of the video. So it kind of the gang with the graffiti lettering, the graffiti text font. I mean, it's a clear choice, but the text versus the background is not meshing in that video. But like I said, keep your text simple. I use pretty much the same exact text every single time. I don't know what the other one that I use is called. If I'm not mistaken, I can show you again when we get to GIMP. But Franklin Gothic Heavy is a really, really good font. Again, you don't have to do it exactly the way I'm showing you. I'd prefer you not do it exactly the way I'm showing you, because then you're going to kind of look like the Lala Farm videos. And I want you to look like your own video. Just take what I'm showing you and make it your own. But again, like I said, simple text, simple fonts that are easy to read when the image has shrunk. And I'll show you before I actually save this and export it out so I can upload it to YouTube. I will shrink it down on my computer screen just to see how small I can get it. and still be able to see and still be able to read the font.
What is your thoughts, Rick, on using, because I see on some sites they use a thumbnail template, if you will. So the only thing that changes is kind of the underlying picture, but there's the forefront and the text. Every single one of the thumbnails look exactly the same, and there's just, maybe 2/3 of the picture is actually different. The other third is exactly the same template from video to video to video.
Are they referring to where the font is like on the right or the left hand? I'm assuming there's a lot of people that do that. They'll have a solid box on the right hand side, and then on the left they'll have a square photo.
Yeah, or something like that. Any variation, but every thumbnail is exactly the same.
The most important part of your thumbnail, and I'm trying to reiterate this, and I can't stress on it enough, is if you have a clear photo that someone can tell, someone needs to know. Viewers, I know there's a couple like just straight viewers in this chat or watching this video. Viewers need to be told what to look at. Viewers need to be told to hit the thumbs up, to subscribe to your channel, to ring that notification bell. Without words, viewers need to know what to look at in your thumbnail. If you post a video, or if you post a photo, say you post this photo right here where you got Patrick looking at a chicken, looking at, and then Monsters looking up at Papa. That's a pretty close up photo of Patrick. You're echoing. That's a pretty close up photo of Patrick and a chicken and the dog. If you were to pan out, meaning like take the photo further back, and then you were to have Patrick smaller and the chicken smaller and Monster smaller, and then you have then you have a huge side by side, then you have Papa standing off to the left of the photo, with text on his back, and then you try to put text off to the right hand side, it's going to be a confusing thumbnail. And so that's why I say, as long as it's a clear photo and when you look at it, you can't help but look at Patrick and the chicken and Monster, that's what you need. And if you decide that you want to put a square or a rectangular box on the side of your video, and that's where you're going to put your text every single time, I click on those kind of videos all day. One thing I also recommend you doing, a lot of people, Papa told me a long time ago, whenever I was doing my business, I had a lawn service twice. First time was we don't talk about. Second time, it was by choice. I left and did everything, in my opinion, the correct way. But he told me that all business is the same. All business is the same. The only thing that's different is what the business sells. So what I encourage you, I gave you guys some homework last week where I said, hey, go out, figure out what software you want to, figure out what kind of software that you want, and then come back next Thursday and I can kind of show you things that you can aim for. Homework for this week. I want you to go and search Fortnite. Probably very few of you are actually interested in Fortnite, but I want you to go search Fortnite. Don't watch any of the videos. Don't watch any of the videos. Look at the thumbnails. I want you to go and I want you to look at what's the other thing that Madeline plays? It's these little I don't know what on earth it's called, but I can't remember. She'd be able to tell me exactly what it is.
Don't look at me. I don't play any teenage games.
Call Madeline up here, Dad. But I encourage you to go look at those videos or look at those thumbnails, and only do it for one reason, the thumbnails. And I want you, if you were interested in Fortnite, I want you to find the thumbnail that you would click on. And again, not copy it, but I want you to figure out what they did that enticed your eyeballs to look at their thumbnail and click. Madeline, what is the name of that game that everybody's playing now where you have to, it's the, what is it called?
Among Us.
Among Us. Among Us. All right, thank you. So go on there and look up Among Us. That's another really big video game right now that everybody seems to enjoy playing. And if you enjoy playing it enough, you enjoy, I guess, watching it for hours on end while someone else plays it. But go on there and, like I said, look up those games and figure out why your eye is catching a specific thumbnail. And again, don't copy it, but figure out what they're doing and make it your own. So hopefully that answered his question, Dad.
Well, that was my question.
I thought you had I thought that was a question that was in the comments.
No, that was my question, because I see that a lot.
Yeah.
And there's some channels that do it pretty effectively. They're large channels. So it's not a critique of it. Paula just put a link in here of a channel that's doing it. And her point was that when you use these templates and you don't put a whole lot of time in making original templates, or original thumbnails, but you're using the same template over and over and over, and you're only changing part of it for the content, that it kind of gets old and boring after a time. And I think what Paula said in the chat was she just kind of got bored of seeing that thumbnail kind of template come up in her feed. So it's a good point.
I can't get too far off of it because we're already at 40 minutes and I still want to get over and do another one. But you can have, with that being said, Dad, you can have a template of some kind without having that stringent of a template. You can kind of veer off from it a little bit. Look at this live stream every Wednesday. I just did this one today. This is Gail's Southern Living from last night. And in this one, I kind of did something even a little bit differently. I took my Bah Humbug hat, and had Madeline take a photo of me, and then put my head in place of the head that's usually in there. But again, this is a template that we use. We always either use the man, I really wish I could. It's like Heisenberg or something like that. That's another font that I use all the time. But I only use religiously only 2 fonts. Now you'll see, like right here where the Petway, I used a little bit different of a font, and that's only because I saw that font in something similar to that font in one of their videos. So I kind of tried to make it look more Petway-ish. But you can see, I mean, all of our lettering is relatively the same kind of lettering. There is no cursive. There is no huge, vibrant swirls and whatnot. And it's just because that adds more things that the eye has to try to see through in order to get to what you really want them to see, which is the text in a thumbnail and the photos in your thumbnail. But you can see, I mean, we have an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The text is always at the top. The text is always kind of cockeyed a little bit. You can see where we kind of veered off on that on the Tin Can Gardener. And there's always the same kind of outline. Papa's always on the left. I'm always on the right. I think on the Tin Can Gardener, the photo that he sent me, I kind of had to veer off of that a little bit. And that's why I was put in the middle, and the Tin Can Gardener was placed on the right-hand side. But again, if you look through these videos, it's the same. I'm on the right, Papa's on the left. There's always a number, and there's always a live in the top right. If you go down here to the ones that I've made for the last 2 weeks, you got a white background, and then you got a picture of me, of a close-up of me. But you can tell kind of, all right, those look like they're from the same channel. That way, if you do have a really loyal fan following and they search a video, they don't, again, let's go back to apple pie. Chelsea made an apple pie, and you don't know that Chelsea made an apple pie, but you search homemade apple pies and my thumbnail shows up and you're a loyal fan of mine. You're going to want to see what Chelsea cooked because you like my channel. And the only way you're going to find my channel is if I have somewhat of a way that I make my thumbnails. And it's just easily recognized. So, oh man, I will rant. All right. So going back, again, you'll see me just kind of playing with the text a little bit, trying to make it as big as I possibly can. You'll see me change the text color to black, and then
So Highland Homestead asked, do you suggest a photo or a regular animation? I'm not sure I know what you mean by that, Eva.
I am assuming what she is talking about is pulling a photo from your video, I think.
Is that what you're talking about, Eva?
So if that is what you're saying, I 100%. It's not pulling tooth and nail. I was about to exaggerate a little bit.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Okay. Yes. All right. So one thing that okay, I guess you did it right. You mute, or you hit it again right after I touched it. But no. So one thing that I've tried, and sometimes you forget. Sometimes you're like, you go out there and you're on the weekend and it's Sunday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you're just getting done filming your video that has to be out Monday morning or Monday afternoon. The last thing that you think about is, hold on, I got to stop. I got to take a photo. And I do it often. Papa rarely takes a photo. I usually have to pull his from the video. But photos look a ton cleaner. This is a photo. I'm not going to go back and I'll show one real quick.
So Paragon Ridge Ranch says, all my research stated a photo with your face looking at the camera.
Yep. It's that, and it goes back to facial expressions. When you have a facial expression with your eyes open or some sort of emotion, people will engage in that video, or click on that video because they want to see why you're looking like this. You go to this one right here, the thumbnail is really close, Papa's face. This right here is an actual photo that I took. You go to this one. This is an actual photo that I took. I'm trying to find one. This right here. Does the best nest box work out with the best nest box in with the new? I think is what that entire title says, somewhere around there. That photo was pulled from the actual footage with inside the video. It's just a still frame. And I mean, it works. The video is not doing awful. I mean, that was before we really got on our SEO game. And so, but 482 views. But again, the thumbnail just doesn't stick out. It's not super, super crisp. Should your title be in the thumbnail? It's not super, super crisp. It's really, it's kind of a faded photo. Now, could you take that and then edit it to where it will pop a little bit? Yes. But I still don't think you're going to get 100% of what you could if you actually took a photo. To
illustrate the difference, if you look at the one that Rick was just looking at, that one with the best nest box, and then go down to the next row down all the way to the right, the before and after. So both of those videos are dealing with the best nest box. Both of them are optimized using the best nest box in the title. So anybody checking or searching for best nest box, which is a highly searched term, is going to get served both of those thumbnails.
Which one would you click on?
Which one would you click on of those two? Because they're optimized almost identically.
You type in best nest box and this one right here is probably showing up on the first page.
Well, it is the one that has the best nest box, got the red curtain on it. It's just the thumbs up, thumbs down. It's just more visually appealing. That is our third best performing video of everything that we have, getting about 150 to 200 videos or views a day. Yeah. It is a very well performing video. And they're optimized almost identically, but that one with the best nest box with the red curtain is by far better performing.
Now, as far as should your title be in the thumbnail, verbatim, no, it shouldn't. So the title is you have the description. And then you have the description, which is actually inside the video. Once you click on the video, then you can scroll down, read the description. The title should be a description of your description. And the text inside your thumbnail should be either a teaser or a description of your description's description. So it should get the closer to the thumbnail you get, the less descriptive you should be and the more broad. Skillet brownie. Then you go to the title, cast iron skillet baking, skillet brownie baking kit. And then when you go to the actual description, it'll tell you where we got it. It'll tell you that it's a cast iron skillet baking kit. It'll tell you that we also did a cookie. Nowhere in that thumbnail nor in the title did you say anything about a cookie.
Yeah, I think this goes back to what we talked about earlier. Think about what is the purpose first of the title and what is the purpose of the thumbnail. They serve two very different functions. One is optimized. The title and the description, the keywords, all of that goes into optimizing the video. That's what's going to get it served up. So if by the time that you see a video feed, whether it's a suggested video or something that you're viewing by just searching it on somebody's channel, your eye is going to be drawn to the visual, to the thumbnail, and then you're going to read that title. If you're searching on YouTube, the algorithm is going to serve up videos based upon the title and the description. Therefore, the only thing that really is going to differentiate success or failure with respect to that video getting clicked on is the thumbnail. So to have it in the thumbnail and to have it in the description is really redundant.
Now, I'm going to show you guys something. Papa just said something about the title is the only thing that's optimized. That is true. The title and the description and the tags and all that kind of stuff, that all has to do with SEO. And that is that's what puts your video in front of someone. Now, with that being said, YouTube is a Google company. And let me tell you how smart Google is and why it is important. This kind of goes back to what you were saying with the this kind of goes back to what you were saying about should I use a still frame from a video, which is not going to be really, really highly rendered. It's not going to have really fine edges. It's, for example, this one right here, when I pull it up, you can literally see the fuzzy in my beard. If I were to sit here and talk and take a still frame, the individual hairs are not going to show up.
And as you know, he's very proud of his beard.
I love my beard. But I'm going to show you something. Like I said, YouTube is owned by Google. It is a Google company. I don't name every single one of my photos, but I can go up here, and this is my Google search. This is going to just search my images, and I type in chicken. Watch what Google can do just by photos. Chicken. It just pulls up all of my chicken photos. Everything that's chicken related. There's nothing other than a photo of a chicken that is in the text or in the title of this video. So with me saying that, if your video is about chickens, it wouldn't hurt to have something in relation to a chicken in the thumbnail. So you don't want to just have every single thumbnail that you put out a picture of your face and your face only. You know, if you're wanting to reach just your followers, if you're wanting to just reach your subscribers, I don't see anything wrong with putting a picture of your pretty mug. But if you're wanting to really, if you're doing a farm walk or a barn walk around, take a picture of a barn. Because
yeah, the amazing thing about this is
what it can do. I mean,
yeah. The amazing thing about this is that every one of those pictures you just saw are basically machine named. So they have machine, you know, they're named by the machine, and then it's searching just on what the pixelation looks like in that picture, which is pretty darn amazing that they can identify that.
Optimization, like I said, I'm not an expert. Papa's not an expert, but we definitely know enough to get us in trouble. Optimization is putting as much information into the video as you can. So say for instance the skillet video. I pull it up. Everybody that's ever posted a video on YouTube has seen this screen right here. This is optimization. When you come in here and you put some thought into what your title is going to be, you'll notice we have cast iron skillet, baking skillet, brownie baking kit, and then the title is also right there in the top. That's strategic because TubeBuddy tells us that that's a good thing to do. Then we give a short description. Every single one of our descriptions are about the same from that point forward. When you get down here, it's all about tags. All right, this is all optimization. So optimization is this screen. It's what you say in your title, what you say in your descriptions, and the tags. That's all optimization. So let me get back on track because I've ranted. So, but again, going back to the texts, just making sure that the text is visible. And here, nope. And I'm going to add the live in there, do a little bit more of that. And then I think I look at it and then I see, nope. Where do I go? Where do I go down? I bring this thing all the way down. There we go. So right here, you guys can see where I shrink. That's what I was saying earlier about taking the photo, and you want to make it as small as you possibly can and still be able to see it. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to watch that with you guys. You can still read it, and that's about the size that it's going to be on your phone. You can still see thumbnails unless you got old eyes like Papa. And then it starts to really shrink down and you can't really see much. But again, with every single one of our thumbnails, I do that. And that is so I can see how far away I can get that thumbnail or how small I can get that thumbnail and still be able to recognize certain key things in the thumbnail, which is the subject, which is me holding a piece of paper with Old Way on it, and then the text thumbnails. And then that's about it. It goes into towards the end of the video, just adding the live to the side, and then organizing it into a thumbnail file, and that's it. So, all right, let's get back to. So I'm going to take, what are we at, 59 minutes? So the last portion of the video is going to be me creating this in GIMP as well as I can. we have any questions in the meantime while I set that up? Okay.
They're saying that you're abusing me because you're talking about her. I guess Paul was because you're talking about my old Why can you hear me? He says he's abusing. Paula says he's being abusive because he's making fun of my
I make
old
fun of
eyes.
how old he is all the time. All the time. It's a habit of mine. So let me go ahead and share this screen over here.
Can you hear me now? I got it. He mutes me because he doesn't want to hear me.
That's
so
not
I got to
accurate.
turn my mic on.
I don't mute you because I don't want to hear you. I mute you because it's a bad echo. And I finally found out what Paula was talking about. Whenever I put these bad boys on, I could hear very clearly. Like right now, there's an echo. But so, like I said, I'm going to go into GIMP, and the majority of this, the majority of you guys, I'm assuming, have this program. It's 100% free. There's not even actually a pro version to this program. I know getting it north of 7, Roland says that he went ahead and he installed GIMP. Again, there's a learning curve to this, and I recommend don't just learn everything from me. Go on YouTube and search GIMP tutorials. You will find them all day long, and it'll show you in depth how powerful this program is. It's not the most sightly. It's not as pretty as Photoshop, but it does a good job. So go ahead and all right, where am I at? So I'm going to start by dragging in the file. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a new file, the template. I'm going to make that. Give me a second. Again, you want to make it that that 720 format. That way 1280 by 720. Now this is the image size 1280 by 720 that you're going to want to go ahead and use. And you can actually create a template for that. And then I always recommend making the background transparent. That's just a personal preference of mine. But this is going to be that first setup, and what it's going to do is it's going to give you that right there. And this is your blank canvas. Now, I've said in the past about layers with these programs right here. Your good quality programs are going to have visible layers that you can play with. So look down here, you'll see background. When this says background, that is the only layer that we have on there. If I click this right here and create another layer, again, it's transparent. So this is 2 of the same exact layer, one on top of one another. Now, layer right here, this is layer 1. All right, actually, I'm going to leave that as layer because the next one will be layer 2, so on and so forth. But this layer right here is on top of the background. All right, so for the background, again, what I like to do is I like to have a black border around our entire page or our entire thumbnail. And what I did to do that is this square tool up here. And I selected the entire screen. All right. Once you select the entire screen, you can go ahead and click, right click, go down to edit, stroke selection right here. And what that's going to do is it's going to put lines everywhere that the outer border that is selected. So you'll click that, a nice thick line width. I'm going to use 20, and switch that back. All right. So again, I use black. So we're going to go stroke selection, 20 pixels right here, 20, and then stroke. And it will give us that right there. After this, then you'll go ahead and, like I said, you'll grab your image, whatever you want to use. I'm going to use the same one that I used earlier. Nope, that's not the same one I used earlier. I'm going to, this is the boring part. I'm going to use this image right here, and I'm going to shrink it down to, why is that not working? Get there. So there we go. All right. All right, this isn't working on the, huh? Come on, buddy. I don't understand why it's not. Don't make me into a liar, GIMP. Let's do a layer right there. All right, and then click, see if that. There we go. All right, so shrink that down into the frame. Scale it. Drag it into the place where we had it last time that we want to go ahead and keep it. All right. Now, the difference between the GIMP software and the Photoshop software, I'm going to press Z, and I'm going to zoom all the way into my forearm area right there. And then if you got a middle scroller on your mouse, you can push down on that and do that number. All right. But I'm going to start with my forearm. I'm going to click this Paths tool. All right. Once you click the Paths tool, it's going to give you this little icon right here. And this is practice makes perfect. You got to do it enough, and then you'll get better and better. But you'll go ahead and you'll click a starting square, starting anchor, and you'll draw around. Now you'll get to this part right here. This probably wasn't the best or greatest spot to start. But as you drag, so here's your square. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to left click right here, and then I'm going to keep it clicked and drag it, and it's going to create a line that is not completely straight. And then you'll have this one right here. Now this square right here, the next line is going to, I'll show you guys right here. So we'll do this. I'm gonna click right here, and this is what this tool does. All right, it creates a line. And again, practice makes perfect. Now this line right here is going to be the start of the next line, and what that's allowing you to do is make smooth lines. What that's allowing you to do is make smooth lines and transitions. That way your photo does not look choppy. So you'll see if I keep this line right here pointed in this direction and I click here, the next line is going to be curved. And then I can drag this one. All right. And I can just continue doing that. And then all of the lines continue to look smooth. Now, say if you get to a point right here, and if you start right here and you click right here, and now you have this line right here. If you were to start from that angle, nowhere you go is it going to look natural. It's going to give like a weird appearance. Take this square, you'll hit your control key, hold it, and then at that point you can freely move that anchor right there, and you'll put it in the direction. What's up, Dad? Whoa, why is there two of you over there?
I don't know.
Don't worry about me.
Okay. But you'll move this anchor. you'll move this anchor, and then at that point, it kind of it changes the path in which that line will travel. And at this point, this is where it's the time-consuming part. You're literally just going to go very barely on the inside of the subject, which is us, whoever you're doing this with, and you'll go all the way around the entire subject. Notice I'm not grabbing all of this right here. If you'd like to, you can. I would not recommend doing that until you kind of get you understand how the pen tool works, or the path tool, as they call it in GIMP, and you'll just go all the way around. Again, just staying inside of the subject barely. And the reason why you want to stay inside is so after this, you then don't have to come behind with a eraser and erase everything on the side, or do what I was doing in the Photoshop, where I ended up coming by and kind of feathering the sides. Now, once you get up to the top right here, at that point, you just kind of go on the outside of the canvas, click, and then you can start down here with the opposite side of, in this photo, my hat. I hear Chelsea down there. She's trying not to harm our children. But again, you'll follow the subject all the way around. Once you get to straight edges, instead of holding on to the left mouse, you can at this point just kind of point and click in the direction. Now, this is going to cut off this giant section of the sheet of paper. That'll be okay in when we zoom all the way out and cut out the rest of the background. You won't even be able to notice that. It will just look like you're holding up a rectangular sheet of paper. But you'll follow your fingers all the way around. And like I said before, I mean, the more time you do this stuff, the better off you're gonna get. I mean, this is where Papa completely loses interest. No interest in this side of it at all. So again, now we have, I'm gonna redo that line right there. If y'all don't know what Control Z is, it is the command to get rid of your last action. All right, so once you get to this point, you will see those two circle dots. The way I get those is by hovering over the first anchor point, holding Control, and then you want to link them by just left clicking right there. All right, so now I'm going to zoom all the way out. All right, and this is what we are left with. Now, it doesn't look too appetizing right now because it's just a whole bunch of anchors. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and right click, excuse me. We're going to go down to select. You're going to go from path. And then you'll see the path lit up all the way around. At that point, you can go ahead and get rid of this. The way I've always done it is just by clicking the move tool. That'll get rid of all your anchors. And now you're left with something very similar to what you saw in the Photoshop version a little bit earlier in the video. All right. At this point, you'll go up to edit. You'll go to cut. It gets rid of you. All right. You'll go back to the image, or this the layer that we started out with, where we put me on top of the background, and you'll delete that. All right. Now we still have the outline of me, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that by going up to select, going down to none, and getting rid of this. Then you'll go back over, and this is the create layer. You'll go ahead and you'll create a blank layer, transparent layer that goes on top of that background. All right, you'll click it, come back up here, go to paste, And there you are. All right. The thing with GIMP is once you copy and paste something in, they want to know what kind of layer that you're going to make that image. So the best thing that I can recommend for you guys right now, without going even further in depth, go ahead and right click on that and then just go to new layer. All right. Now, so you got a pasted layer right here. We'll go ahead and I believe in being organized. We're going to name that Rick. All right. Now at this point, we're just going to go back to putting me wherever, or putting you wherever you want to be on your thumbnail, however big, however small. And that's where I want myself to be in this thumbnail. At this point, we're going to make ourselves another layer. This layer is on top of Rick. This is a perfect time for me to explain the importance of layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this layer white. All right. If I paint it right now, this layer is over this layer. So it X's everything. It blanks everything out. All right. It gets rid of it. I want this layer right here to be down here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight it like it is right now. I'm going to go down here to these layer arrows. I'm going to click one. It's going to bring it below me. Click again, and it's going to bring it below the background. Now you're left with a completely white background, a black border, and me. So we're going to add our text. The Heizenweiler. I don't know what that says, but that's a text that we use a lot. That's the H word that I was trying to tell y'all earlier. All right. So we're going to name this thumbnail, or the text that we're going to use is thumbnails. All right. It's printing out in white, right? Or it's typing out in white. So we're going to change that color to black. All right. And then we are going to change the thumbnail, or the thumbnails text to a larger font like this. All right. At that point, we're going to bring our move tool back, put it where we want it. If you want it in front of the Rick layer, you can go down there and click it up to where it shows up in front of the sheet of paper. Or if you want it in the background, you can go ahead and drag it down below the sheet of paper. And now that paper cuts off the side of the T. Again, we go back over to our pictures. I have a live icon saved in our picture folder that I will then drag up into the position that I want it. Go back over to our scale tool, which is this guy right here. Click on it again. Make it the size that I want it. And there is your thumbnail. At this point, then you're just going to go over to export. You'll export it. I'm not going to save this because I am going to save this. I'll save it as.
All right. What do you mean by export?
Export. All right. So right here, you go down to file. You'll see, if you're used to Word or Excel or any of those other programs, you'll know what save and save as is. Save is like a really quick save. If you've already made a file and you're more or less editing something, a lot of people use save. If you have created a file and you want to edit it, but then save it as a separate file, you do save as. In GIMP, the way this works is you have GIMP files. I can't mute you because I got too many things open, Dad. With GIMP, your save will save it in a GIMP format. So it saves all of these layers on the right-hand side. And this is a really good way to do templates. So if you want to say you want this black border, the white background, to always be in your image or always be in your thumbnails, you could do that by, I'm going to see this little eye. if I start clicking that eye, it's getting rid of things. So now if I were to save this image, the only thing that it's going to save, and it'll do it in a template, is the black border with the white background. And then when I come in here and if it's going to be a live, I'll go ahead and I'll just click live and it'll automatically pop that in. If I wanted to, I can move it around. And then, so it's just a way to make templates or to save a project, not necessarily a photo, because YouTube does not recognize GIMP files. But you'll go up here to File. Oh, let me go ahead and not do that. All right. So once you have everything on the screen, you go up here to File, skip Save As. Don't do that unless you want to continue your project later on. You're going to Export. That's going to bring up a save screen. We save everything, like I said, or like me and Papa said last week, on external drives. So this Elements F is our external. I'm going to save it under Photos and then Thumbnails. And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, and you will see right here, I have 1210, live stream 1, live stream, and then live stream 2. Sorry if you guys can hear Patrick in the background. But I am going to save it right here because this is actually the file that I did earlier on GIMP. So I'm going to export. It's going to ask me if I want to replace it. Click yes. This right here just is a way to, it's going to save as a JPEG image, which is a particular file that YouTube does support. You can keep it at 90. You can keep it at 90, or you can put it up. If you click right here, show preview and image window, it'll tell you exactly how large your file size is. This is going to come in handy when you have a really intricate thumbnail and it's going to be over 2 megs. Because like I said, anything over 2 megs, YouTube will not allow you to download as a thumbnail. And this will also allow you to know if you can increase your quality. So the file size is good. It's at 366.6 kilobytes. And you're going to export. All right. So it has now exported this photo. And now I'm going to show you a side-by-side or a kind of flipping through.
Well, this kind of goes to where we talked about, I think last week or the week before, somebody asked a question about storage. So everything that Rick does and all of this goes onto that 8 terabyte storage external device. So it's all in one place. We don't have to look for any of this stuff. All of our old raw footage, all of our, old photos. So we've got literally thousands upon thousands of old photos and hours upon hours of old footage. Maybe we'll use it again, maybe we won't, but it's great if we're looking for, just an old piece of footage on our goat fancy. We've got that, and we can find it relatively easy because it's indexed on that 8 terabyte external storage device.
Now, I will say this: it does take a lot of time and energy. If you have not already started doing this, but you want to go back and categorize all of your older videos or your older thumbnails, and that takes a lot of effort to go through and watch all of your footage, which I'm assuming probably the majority of you, once you're done using your footage and it's up on YouTube, you probably get rid of it. But if you do by chance if you do by chance go out and get an external drive and you start doing this, I would recommend highly that you start dating your footage and start categorizing it. If you live on a homestead, put your chicken videos with your chicken videos, your goats with your goats, your pigs with your pigs, cows with cows, gardening with gardening, and so on and so forth. But this right here is the thumbnail. This is the first thumbnail that was made earlier tonight in the video that that I showed you. It is done in that Franklin Gothic, the bold Franklin Gothic text. Same thumbnail clip down here, and then same exact photo. what I need you to do is I need you to pay attention to how clean and crisp this edge is. Again, I went by with an eraser and cleaned up all these edges to where they look really, really, really sharp. And you will be able to tell that in YouTube when you upload this as your thumbnail. It'll stick out a lot more. This is the thumbnail that we did in GIMP. Again, you can do everything in GIMP that you can do in Photoshop. It just takes a lot of the time, it takes more effort. So this is you can see how the photo is not nearly as vibrant, but you can see where this right here on the edges, it's still very crisp. It's very clean. The thumbnail still is crisp and clean. The live's in the same exact spot. So that's the biggest difference, is how Photoshop renders out their images is just it's hard to beat. But again, this is with Photoshop, which is a very expensive software, and this is with GIMP, which is a free software. I'll let y'all be the judge if paying $40 a month is worth it. So, but I love Photoshop. I'm gonna miss it when we don't have it anymore. So I'm gonna yep. Hold on, let me get rid of that. So I'm gonna miss it when we don't have it anymore. But as of right now, I'm really enjoying having it. I'm gonna answer. What are we at? 120. 1 hour and 26 minutes. Yes, it does, Roland. But like I'd said last week, I highly recommend you guys going out and trying out the free software. There's plenty of free softwares out there. I like GIMP because, again, it can do everything that Photoshop can. And if you can really tighten down on your skills with GIMP, when you do eventually end up, hitting 1.5 million subscribers and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, you can then afford Photoshop, and it will be a lot easier, and it'll streamline your workload. And IMO free is always the best price. IMO free. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yes, free is always the best price, most definitely. Tasha, maybe Crazy Homestead. You had asked earlier, I saw Papa, I did not get into that question. You had asked which one's better, or which one's easier to work with, PC or Mac. I'm not a Mac guy, but I've been creating YouTube content for a while on this channel and then other channels, and I've ran across much, much, much larger channels. I've met some people that they're like borderline 1 million subs. They use Mac. Mac is in anybody that's, the artsy fartsy type. Mac is like the dream computer. But me and Papa do not just use these computers to edit video, edit photos. And when it comes to day-to-day work, Mac has nothing on Windows. Nothing. So, it is a lot of work. I am fascinated. Thank you for sharing all of this with us tonight. I enjoy it. But I do completely understand that it can be overwhelming. But again, this is a live where I'm showing you like one thing and I'm trying to go really, really in depth on it. But again, the more and more you search, I did not take a class on GIMP. I didn't take a class on Photoshop, nor did I take one on VSDC or Premiere Pro. You can learn nowadays how to build a freaking house on YouTube. You can learn how to do Photoshop, how to do VSDC, how to do Premiere Pro, how to do GIMP. All of those you can learn how to do with YouTube, and YouTube is free. So, like Tasha said, YouTube, in my opinion, free is the best price all the time. So, What do we got? What do we got? Mac has super color display quality. Yep. Mac's best for music and video and art. 100% agree. Like I said, if you are into the arts, it is your dream computer. I don't know very many people that are artists or that are that really like that's cool. That are really into editing and they don't do gaming or anything like that on their computer that don't want or have an Apple computer or a Mac computer. You're very welcome, Roland. Patrick is still screaming in the background. I took a class many years ago. 97 versions were all the rage. 97 versions. Oh, the year 97. Strike 2 for me. The Lala was watching for one more thing. You're welcome. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Photoshop, I keep seeing people rolling through the comments saying Photoshop looks good. Photoshop's the bomb. I love Photoshop. And again, Photoshop is amazing. It's just that it's that price tag. They do not let that software go for free. There is, I think you might be able to get like a demo version, but it might be like 10 days or 7 days or something like that. I wouldn't know. I'd have to go look. But thank you guys. I'm going to wrap it up. We're at an hour and 30 minutes. It's getting to be past my bedtime. I do really appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Me and Papa both. Appreciate you guys sticking it out. Again, this live isn't nearly as popular as our other one. But that is okay. It's not really what our channel's about. But I feel like there's a lot of people that are in this community that want to, hey guys, that want to learn about this kind of stuff or that are interested in this kind of stuff. And so this is, I said it earlier, this is probably going to be one of our, I know Voon, she's still in here kicking it until the end with us. The next Help You Grow will probably be on not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after, just to really help us break up the weekday schedule. I can't come home every day and just do editing and lives and everything. I mean, I have 3 kids, 1 wife, not 2 wives. I don't have 2 wives. I don't know why I said 1 wife.
This little cat here is very rarely on video. We very rarely see him. So Big Rick, Medium Rick, and Little Rick. This is Rick's son, Rick. So he's the third in a line of 4.
I'm the smallest Rick.
Yeah.
You're the littler Rick.
So here's the update. I mean, really, really briefly, not to keep you on here for too long, but last night I talked about we were in labor negotiations as to whether or not I was going to be on the kid family farm in 2 weeks. And I got a call today and they've moved my surgery. So I'm going to be on it. I won.
But guys, again, thank you for watching. I'm gonna let Little Rick close us out. Do you want to close us out?
Remember, point.
Remember,
always treat others as you would like to be treated.
I think you got that. Try it again.
All right, do it again.
Remember, treat others how you would want to be treated.
All
right, guys. Look for our video coming out tomorrow night, and we will see you guys in the next live next Wednesday. Have a good night.
Good night.
Hey, Rick. This is what I wanted to show you.